Hello and welcome. In this video we'll be taking a look at the Whisky-Actual / community JAS-39 C Gripen. Right, so I will provide the download link in the description, but this is where it will take you. And what you're going to want to do is click on this, click download zip, and then it will do its stuff, download to wherever your downloads go to. Then what you want to do is unrar it or unzip it, or whatever you use to open the files, and put it straight into your saved game DCS open or DCS stable, whatever version you use, mods, aircraft, and as you can see mine's here, so you put it straight into your save game mods folder. No need to go into the main core of the simulator. Okay, so from there we are going to get into the sim. You'll know if you've installed it correctly if you go along here to J, and you'll see the icon there and it's lit up. I've obviously set the wallpaper. One thing of note is there's a lightning 3-pod there, but no laser guided armament on there unless it's already been dropped from the center pylon. Got set 2 meters there. You've got RSTs and you've got the RBS-15s, which are anti-radiation missiles, so a bit stumped at that one, but it's a technicality. So we'll jump from here into the mission editor. As this is only a review, I'm not going to go too in depth into it. Now, the one thing that was a little bit of a disappointment to me was that there is a separate air-to-ground and air-to-air version of the Gripen, as the combination hasn't been made just yet, as they are using Flaming Cliff's 3 Avionics, and therefore the air-to-ground variant has the SU-25 T or SU-25 Avionics, whereas the air-to-air variant has the F-15 Avionics, of which we'll see when we jump into the cockpit. But this is the main area of action. We've got a Molnia out there, so I can fire a anti-radiation, anti-ship missile at it. I've got my little bombing range there, and I've got my air-to-air here, so we can look around the airframe, and some MiG-29s, so I can fire some of the weapons at it. So let's first take a look at the air-to-air variant. So here we are, air-to-air variant. As you can see, the air-to-ground variant will have AG next to it, so we've chosen that, and it comes with quite a nice array of liveries. Czech Air Force, Digicam, Desert. My favourite one is the Forest one, classic vegan livery. But as this is your bog standard Gripen, I'll keep it in the bog standard Gripen livery. Now, it's armed with RSTs and meteors, and just to give you some numbers, the meteor should have a range in excess of around 100 kilometers, so that's around about 54 nautical miles, with a no escape zone, which I've never even heard of on a missile before, of around 60 kilometers, so that's around about 32 nautical miles. The RST standing for Infrared Imaging System Tail Thrust Vector Controlled, that has a range of around about 25 kilometers, so you're looking at around 13 nautical miles. So a decent range on both of these. I mean, RST being the breakaway version of the European Sidewinder, as well as obviously you've got the ASRAM, and the Meteor, built by MBDA, quite a beast. And then of course, if we go into the other liveries, air-to-air missiles, you've got RB-74, which is basically the AIM-9L. Obviously that has a range of between 135 kilometers, so you're looking at around the maximum around about 18 nautical miles on that bad boy. And then on these, we've got the AIM-120Bs, which are here. You can have either one on its own or two on a different launcher. Of course, those have a range of around 55 to 75 kilometers, and that's around about 30 to 40 nautical miles. And then obviously you've got the C5, which boosts the range up quite a bit, a range of in excess of around about 100 kilometers. So you're looking around about 56 nautical miles on that one. So yeah, basically, so you got AIM-120s, RSTs, your AIM-9s, your Meteor, and that's pretty much it for air-to-air armament. And then obviously you have the lightning pod for this section here, but you're not going to need it for that, for pylon 5 there. Pod is the Sorbitsia electronic countermeasure pod, and then on this side you've got Phantasmagoria, because there is no other anti-radiation pod available in Flaming Cliffs 3. So that's pretty much it for the air-to-air. If we get to the air-to-ground version, just click out that one, I don't want to mess these up. So there you go. So I've got a bit of an asymmetric line up on there. So we've got the RSTs on the wingtips, purely because you're going to want to be able to defend yourself. Then we've got the, I can't remember what this one was, oh, the MAR-1 high-speed anti-radiation missile, yep. And then we've got some gravity bombs here, but these are classed as 120 kilogram general purpose load drags. Obviously we've got Lightning 3 pod, but that will be the Schval from the Su-25. Then we have the awesome Brimstone, and they're pretty good. That's the RBS-15, the anti-ship missile. Yeah, so that one's a fire and forget basically. And then you've got the it does carry rockets, and they're on a just check that one. Oh yeah, Arak M70B. Couldn't really find much detail on these. I mean, I don't know if the launcher, the Arak launcher, is hard to find, but or the M70B rockets are hard to find, but there's very little information. Obviously you've got the choice of high explosive warheads, or you've got armor piercing here, and then there are other bombs available. Here we go, unguided cluster munitions. Basically that thing, it drops off your pylon, and when it gets to a certain altitude pops, and then a load of anti-personnel munitions fall to the ground. And then you have the, just bear with me 1 second, so the bombs, you've got the standard Mark 82s, £500, and then you've got the laser guided stuff, GBU-12, GBU-16 and 49 TV guided, but pretty much use the same system. Then you've got the Mark 82, £500 on its own, and then you got Mark 83, £1,000 of it. Yeah, just pretty big, nasty bit of gravity bomb. So other air to ground. I mean, you've got the two different versions of the Maverick. You've got the K and the E. K having the CCD tracker on the end of the missile, and you've got the E, which is just your bog standard laser guided. I think that's really about it for one obvious. Yeah, that's about it for the munitions really. And obviously you can carry fuel tanks, external 1,100 litres, and they're available on pretty much all stations. 1,700 litre. So yeah, and obviously I've got this air to ground variant in the forest scheme because why not? So we're going to jump in, have a look at the model now. It is a simple flight model, so basically all Whisky-Actual did, or community, or whatever you want to call them, they took VSN's model of the Gripen, enhanced it, fine-tuned it, and turned it into what you see in front of you. That reason being the two variants as pretty simple idea. Take on VSN's version of it and make it better, and then try and merge it all together to make a hybrid and use its own systems at some point in the future. I know that they are working on an enhanced or external flight model, whatever you want to call it, and that will be coming in the next update, I believe, as well as a clickable cockpit, and I think some of the textures may be changed. I'm not 100% sure on that one, because at the moment they look a bit arcadey. But yeah, that's about it for now. Let's jump in the cockpit and have a look. So we're in the office, and as you can see, I've not done a bad job of making the cockpit. A lot of glass there in front of me. None of this stuff actually animates. None of these numbers here. These lights are continuously on, so I don't know if I've got any issues or not. This does nothing. These will fire up once I start the electrical system, as will the HUD. Throttle obviously animated. Stick will be animated once everything's up and running, and then we've got the canopy. So we'll fire this up like we would any other Flaming Cliffs 3 module. That's right shift and lemur, and as you can see everything powers up. We've got the radar from the F-15, the stores page from the F-15, and the RWR, as well as the HUD, being nailed by MiG-29s at the moment. What you may want to do is, I can't really see the bottom of the HUD there, so right control, right shift and 8 on the number pad will just raise the head position slightly, and now we can see everything. Now I have heard that the textures will change over time. That may be in the next update, just to make them look a bit more realistic. I mean, they've not done a bad effort so far. I mean, it's certainly better than just sticking an F-15 cockpit on it. So well done lads for that. Now it's a single engine, so we'll start it up with right shift and home. Unfortunately, MFDs, I've not found a way to change them. If you can change them and you know how to do it, please let me know in the comments. So we've got no way of looking at engine instruments, fuel loads, and flight control surfaces. So if we do have any issues, it's a guessing game. And it gets even worse in the air-to-ground version of this, but that's yet to come. So we've got the engine up and running, I believe. Yeah, so we've got stick movement. So we'll close the canopy with left C and left control and Charlie. As you can see, we've got mirrors. They're very small. so I don't think they'll get much use. That's it for inside the cockpit. We'll have a look outside. Okay, so you can see we don't have any lights on at all, so again with any Flaming Cliffs 3 module, right control and Lima bring on the nav lights, and right alt and Lima will bring on the taxi lights. Press them again and you'll also get the landing light as well, so we've got an extra one on the nose there, on the nose wheel, sorry. So as for control surfaces, we have air brakes. Obviously all the surfaces move as they should. Got rudder movement. Got flaps obviously, up and down, and there is also air-to-air refueling probe on this. I believe it's left control and R. There we go. Yeah, we'll just take a quick review of that in the cockpit. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be able to show you how to use that because I can't even air-to-air refuel the Super Attendard, and that's got a probe directly on the nose. So any former Lightning pilots want to give that a go, I'm sure they'll be able to do it. But yeah, right control and Romeo, we'll tuck that back in again. I'm not sure if we'll be able to show you the drag chute action. No. Instead of a drag chute, if you flick the drag chute key, it will turn the canards into air brakes, and they'll flip quite high up. The rotation will be the range will get bigger, so that you've got more surface to slow the aircraft down. One word of note: if you have rudder pedals with an axis on each foot, just assign those to brakes, because I tried to assign just a button to my flight stick, didn't work. For some unknown reason, it's bound to that button, and even pushing it on the keyboard, so there must be a bug there somewhere. So if you do have rudder pedals, assign brakes to the pedals. You will need them. I can't think of anything else. Anyway, we'll taxi out, and I'll show you it taking off. As you can see, look, I'm riding on rails because simple flight model. So we'll get ready to take off, and then MiG-29s, and then we'll move on to the air-to-ground variant. Right, okay, so we're ready to roll. I can't check to see if everything's good or not because I can't change the MFDs, or I don't know how to. I couldn't find a manual anywhere. So I'm guessing everything's good to go. We're just going to fire the afterburner up and get rolling. So I don't know if the sounds are genuine on this one or if they're just used from Flaming Cliffs 3, but the afterburner looks good on here. Okay, we'll lift up. We're up. Gear up. Okay. And up we go. Nimble little fighter. I do like the Gripen. Okay, so we'll cut to the MiG-29s now. Okay, so we've got one popped up on radar. Not letting me. Oh, there we go. We've got a lock. So, how far away is that? I'm not sure if that is accurate. No, it's not accurate at all. That's not a range ladder there. Anyway, I'm going to put launch override on. I'm going to launch a meteor. See how this does. Okay, tracking quite well. It's obviously picked something up. It's got a range of in excess of 100 kilometers and a top speed of anything above Mach 4. So getting away from that's not going to be an easy task. Now we're going to switch over to Iris T's. Now got one, got two. Take these bad boys out, pull in behind them, shoot them down. One away. Boom. Okay, so now we're in the air-to-ground variant, and yeah, it doesn't look like anything is working, but that's because the majority of stuff isn't working. MFDs can't be cycled. Can't see the RWR, so I don't know where the pinging's coming from. So it's just guesswork. But I know where I'm placed, and in front of me is the old disused airfield that I use as a bombing range, just in front of me there. And I know that there's an early warning radar there. And I also know that I've got a Molniya out at sea there. So what I'm going to do is get into air-to-ground mode, select my RBS-15, and we are going to go for the Molniya. So we need to switch on the Phantasmagoria pod, which is used for all the anti-radiation missiles in game, with the Flaming Cliffs 3. I'm just going to lock up now. Okay, so we're locked, and what I'm going to do is I am going to use launch authority override, so that I can actually launch the missile without waiting for it to let me know, because I know that I've got plenty of distance between me and the Molniya. So let it go, and we'll press the F6, and it's got its own onboard engine, so it can power itself. It's a sea skimmer, so launched it from a bit high really. It also subsonic, so it may take a while to get to its target. Boom, there we go. Flash one Molniya. Okay, the only other weapon that I've got on board that uses the Phantasmagoria pod is the MAR-1, which is the very high speed anti-radiation missile, and I'll use that on the early warning radar that is situated on the old airfield over there. You should see the diamond pop up. There it is. Okay, so we will just lock that up. There we go. I've got launch authority. Excellent stuff. And off you go. Let's watch this one do its job. Like I say, some of these munitions, air-to-ground munitions, are a bit twitchy. Especially the brimstone. I'm not quite sure what's wrong with those, but we'll have a look at those shortly. Boom. Okay, so we failed to destroy the early warning radar with the MAR-1. So we'll take off Phantasmagoria pod, and now we will switch over to the Lightning 3. I say that with inverted commas, and it's actually the Skval from the Su-25. So we'll get the brimstones. There's the old airfield. Okay, so we want to go for some of the targets over there. Gonna have to zoom in slightly. Okay, so we can get a lock on. We'll be good to go. Okay. And we have a lock. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, this one's actually gone quite well. So is that one, and so is that one. Okay, so they've proved me wrong. Next is the Arak M70Bs. So don't need the Lightning 3 pod for that. I'm going to take out the Zu-23 emplacement. This one. Oh, they've opened up on me, brilliant.
Pull up. Pull up.
Wow, what a mess.
Pull up.
Excellent. I do like those M70Bs. Wow, they made quite a mess. Right, and the last but not least is the small low drag general purpose bombs. I'm going to drop those on the hinds at the end of the runway there. Okay.
Pull up. Pull up.
Yeah, we'll see if we can follow those in. And missed. Oh. Okay, so I'll bring this into land now and have my final thoughts on it. My final thoughts. Well, it's certainly got a lot of potential. It's great. It's got a great foundation for progression. It was a great idea to take the VSN model and enhance that and improve it. I believe they've done a very good job of making it very stable, very solid. It's really fun to fly. The weapon systems, as simple as they are at the moment, easy to use. If you're a beginner, this is perfect for you. If you've got Flame and Cliffs 3, obviously you need that module for this to work, but this is great for you to learn on a different aircraft. Obviously the downside is that obviously you've got two aircraft, one for air to ground, one for air to air, so it means you've got to learn two different systems, one American, one Russian, just for the one aircraft. So you're covering the vast changes in the way some of these systems read out. So for instance, you've got feet in the air to air, you've got meters in the air to ground, kilometers in the air to ground, knots in the air to air. As good as it is, can cause problems. Once that's sorted and has been merged into one whole aircraft with its own systems, then that will be something special. As I say, I believe it's got a lot of potential. Just at the moment, and it's going to sound awful, but I don't mean it in any bad way at all, it's just a glorified VSN mod. I can't say it any clearer than that, really. Until the avionics have been sorted, and you're able to cycle those MFDs, you're able to check your instruments and things like that, then this thing is going to be really good. And I hope Whisky-Actual continue, because I believe that there should be people out there that have the enthusiasm and the creativity to make modules for the community without charging them. I mean, if that's what they want to do, they should be allowed to do it. I mean, not everybody is about the money, and I believe Community A4, fantastic, have done fantastic work on that, and I believe they've helped these guys out as well to get them going. So yeah, and there's a really good team of enthusiastic, creative designers out there. So guys, if you're one of the people watching, you do a fantastic job. You absolutely brilliant. Keep up the good work. There's a lot of people that really enjoy what you do. Anyway, I've waffled on for long enough. If you got this far, thank you very much. And as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.